sacrifice. So what is it about this story that you want to retell, and what are you trying to say with it? And I think if you really are self-critical about that, you're probably going to be in a good position to, you know, tell an authentic retelling, I guess. tell an authentic retelling.
Well, I'll just say, you know, I read a lot of translations, and there's some really, really faithful ones, there's some really wonderful ones, there's also some dull ones out there. And a lot of them, especially if they're trying to, you know, make it more clear, because it is a bit of a convoluted story, they just leave out the women. You know, I mean, they leave Grendel's mother, because she's the enemy, but they leave out all the wives and the daughters, because they don't really matter to the story. And they matter so much. I don't mean they just matter to me. I mean that they're pivotal to which kingdoms are aligned, and, you know, like the king's wife makes sure that Beowulf feels accepted without insulting all the other knights. Like, she has a very, you know, complicated role in the book. So the more of these I read, the more it pissed me off that I wanted to include women. So like, my short answer to that is write the story that when you read something, it pisses you off that it wasn't as good as it should have been.
People join together to get into a deep talk about one.
So y'all just talk about it.
So cool.
Didn't have a lot to complain about in her life. She realized that self-loathing was all the rage amongst her millennial peers, but in her opinion, she didn't have much to loathe. She was blessed with a steady income as an accountant at Emerald, her father's accounting firm. She loved her.
My grandfather Jack, a large man with a shock of white hair and a big round belly, would dote on us, excitedly hurrying us into the house for cheesies or pancakes. It's strict guidelines about hair, a faint echo of the forced haircuts my grandmother had endured at St. Joseph's, and intend to achieve the same goal, conformity.
Margot seemed relieved to be left on the sidelines, nibbling on the olives from her drink, observing. Jenny, watching with Cece from the upstairs landing, would see her mother standing alone and feel the fizz go flat. The air around crackling with electricity. A sonic boom strummed every nerve in Jenny's body. She was a tuning fork, struck and vibrating. Thank you. I thought maybe a good place to start.
Oh, you need to go hands first, Stephen, I understand. Would you like to be flamingos together?
Sorry, it's 36. I didn't know that over here.
And wait, and wait, and wait until the first day of school comes. When I see Madame Boulian, I hug her.
That's okay. Me neither. But that's why you. Oh wow.
I should have brought a sticker hat. Lots of stickers. I'm excited to talk to you. Thanks so much.
course.
Yeah, they loved it because I went back home to South Africa and I was reading it to them. Yeah, they really enjoyed it.
You know what? I would love if you could.
Hi, I'm David Klink. This is The Perfect Library for Carolyn Klink after Patrick O'Leary's The Perfect City. Imagine, if you will, a perfect city where the reading room is lit by the soft pulsing lights of fireflies, and the wood that furnishes it is from exquisite trees felled by mountain men with bulging biceps. Where you can find the fold-out book of universes and newspapers, including the Barsoom Evening Post, the Fanciful Times of London, the Atlantis Monthly. Where you can find dictionaries of made-up words, the histories and alternate histories of things that never happened, the Book of Extinctions and Lost Civilizations, the Book of the Living, the Book of the Dead, the Book of the Living Dead, where the reference desk is staffed by ancient librarians with leathery wings who can tell you about the Big Bang and everything since, because they were there. A perfect library where the books read other books and join book clubs, arguing what they're about, and when they're done, they shelve themselves. Where you can find books smaller than a fingernail and larger than a bus. Where the listening room has pillow headphones handed out by flapper girls sporting steampunk goggles, so you can hear the music mountains make, the pent-up frustration of dormant volcanoes, the budding awareness of spring moss growing on the sides of trees, the stirring of the planets. The perfect library where documentaries are available in a screening room with reclining bucket seats, and fresh buttered popcorn and drinks are served by male models wearing gladiator and toreador costumes. Where the photocopiers never run out of toner, paper, or patience and never break down. Where the carpets are cleaned by pilot fish taking a break from Shark Week. Where bathrooms are hands-free and fairies use the pressed leaves from gilded books to fan your hands dry. Where the map room has maps, and more maps, and old sea serpents using walkers gingerly slipped from the canvases to lead library tours. Where the archives and special collections contain books that have turned to dust, and patrons are asked to wear white gloves and to refrain from sneezing. Where people in the quiet room can hear the building settle. I have not mentioned the mermaid swing, the petting zoo of extinct species, the 2,000 years of cement exhibit, the dungeon of dead technologies, the wall of human existence, the glass tube ride through the sunken city. This is the library you dream about, the perfect library, and I can see you want to go there. You want to knock on its heavy oak doors and say, "Let me in." And if you finally find yourself there, you will discover the perfect place. Past the reading room with exquisite wooden fireflies, past the guided tour, the swing, the dungeon, past the gladiators and toreadors and flapper girls, to the place where you have a view on the garden, the natural light finding its way in. And there, in a glass case, you will find the first library card you were issued, the first book you signed out as a child, and you are there with your parents again, the place where you can barely see over the counter, and you are glad you finally have a moment to thank them for taking you to your first library, the perfect library, and you realize this is where you have been all along.